Basically, pre-workout companies do this to save money because producing L-Citrulline is a lot more difficult than producing malic acid, and they sell it as this blend, which is pretty misinforming. What's happening, fellas? Today we're going to be looking at something, I think a lot of people have not wrong, but are just misinformed on, which is pre-workouts. More specifically, pre-workout ingredient. So basically, if you go to the gym and you ask dudes, hey, what do you take, man, and why? They'll probably give you the answer of, oh, I got this shit that's got like 400 milligrams of caffeine. It's fucking crazy. And then you ask them, like, what kind of, like, pump products or, like, nootropic products do they have in there? And they go, what's that? I don't know. I don't really know. I just look at caffeine. So today, I'm just going to be giving all you a little overlook of what I look for in pre-workouts and what I think you should look for in pre-workouts. So these are going to be 9 supplements that I think are best in pre-workouts. And I'm basically going to tell you what dosages to take. I'm also going to give you a little physiology background for you physiology bros. And you know what? Let's just get right into it. First off, we're going to have kind of a contested supplement in the pre-workout industry, which is beta-alanine. Some people really aren't fans of beta-alanine and some people are. And 3 to 6 grams of beta-alanine is the recommended dosage if you want to take it. And it's a precursor for kerosene by combining with histine in the liver. This kerosene acts as a buffer for lactic acid. Basically, when you're working out, your body builds up lactic acid, which isn't bad, but when you get too much lactic acid and your body can't buffer against it, that's basically your lactic acid threshold, and you basically can't push past that point. So beta-alanine is going to help buffer this, and it's mostly going to aid in workouts lasting 1 to 10 minutes, and shown to reduce blood glucose and markers of insulin resistance. It also lowers fatigue and improves work. But the biggest thing that it's in pre-workouts for, in my opinion, what a lot of people know beta-alanine as, is it gives you those good old-fashioned PP tingles, son. And PP tingles, some people love them, some people hate them. I know Derek from More Plates More Dates doesn't include it in Gorilla Mode pre-workout because of the tingles. He just doesn't like it. And I would actually agree. I'm not a huge fan of the tingles, but if you like feeling like there's bugs crawling under your skin, take beta-alanine. 3 to 6 grams of it should do the job. Next up, we got L-Citrulline, which is going to be 6 to 8 grams. Basically, L-Citrulline is a nitric oxide precursor, which is basically going to boost the levels of nitric oxide in the body. And nitric oxide basically acts as a vasodilator. So what does that mean? Here's a little picture of it. When you get something like L-Citrulline, which is a nitric oxide precursor, your amount of nitric oxide goes up and your blood vessels dilate, become a lot wider. So they go from, let's say, here to more here, which allows for better blood flow to the muscles. So it's going to reduce fatigue and, potentially improve work. Also going to really help vascularity. And that's kind of why I like it in pre-workouts. It's going to make you look all vascular. It's going to look like venom up in here. So yeah, it's also going to help your pumps. It's also shown in studies to have a 52% increase in the number of reps performed when compared to a placebo, and a 40% decrease in muscular soreness 24 to 48 hours post-workout. So, it's got some other benefits aside from the pump, but a lot of people really like it for the pump. The biggest thing about L-Citrulline, or not the biggest thing, but something to look out for, is the fact that some companies sell it as citrulline malate. What is citrulline malate? Citrulline malate is basically a 1-to-1 blend of L-citrulline and malic acid. When you're taking L-citrulline, you want that efficacious dose, which is going to be in the 6 to 8 gram range. When you're getting 6 grams of citrulline malate, you're only getting 3 grams of actual pure L-citrulline. Basically, pre-workout companies do this to save money because producing L-citrulline is a lot more difficult than producing malic acid, and they sell it as this blend, which is pretty misinforming. So definitely look out for citrulline malate. Get your pre-workouts that say L-citrulline, 6 to 8 grams. Next up, we're going to move on to another vasodilator, which is going to be Agmentine Sulfate. Agmentine Sulfate is another nitric oxide precursor, and it acts as a, vasodilator. So it's going to help your veins go from here to here. So it has pretty much the same benefits as L-citrulline. It's also been shown to manipulate pain receptors, allowing you to push past where you might have failed out before. So that is pretty cool. A lot of us like our pain receptors being modulated. And it's going to help increase your pumps through vasodilation, basically make you look like a fucking freak. You're going to want to take 1,000 milligrams of that Agmentine Sulfate to get that efficacious dose. And let's keep her moving. Next up, we got creatine. 5 grams of it. And creatine, we all know it. We all love it. It's one of the most tested and studied nutrition supplements that you're going to find in a pre-workout. And it has been highly proven again and again to improve strength and improve size. How does it do this? Working out and doing high intensity exercise. Exercises ranging from around 3 to 10 seconds, so like your powerlifting movements, your really shorter bodybuilding movements, anything in the gym like that. Your body's running on phosphocreatine stores, and basically creatine is going to boost these phosphocreatine stores, so you have more of them, you're able to produce more energy, and it's basically going to keep you active in the gym better. It also has properties of being able to draw more water into the muscles, which, you know, we all love that. There's literature saying creatine supplementation is effective in upper limb strength performance for exercise with a duration less than 3 minutes, independent of popular characteristics, training protocols, and supplementary doses or duration. Another thing to look out for creatine is when you're buying it online, like something like Amazon, is a lot of companies will try to sell it as something other than pure creatine monohydrate, which is what you want to look for. These alternate forms of creatine are 116% more than other effective forms of creatine monohydrate. Despite these higher prices, 88% of alternative creatine products found in a study have been classified as having little to no evidence to support bioavailability, efficacy, and safety. So basically, you're going to want to look for your basic creatine monohydrates. Micronized creatine hasn't been shown to improve size or strength in a noticeable way over monohydrate, so I would just recommend getting a nice fat tub of that monohydrate. Next up, we got a supplement that I personally am a very huge fan of, which is glycerol. So glycerol, you're going to want 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams of it. Glycerol effectively draws water into the muscle cells with free water in your body, which is going to help hyperhydrate these muscles and make your pumps way bigger. So if you're just going to drink water throughout the day, it's not going to hyperhydrate your cells like taking glycerol will, because glycerol effectively takes free water in your body that isn't being used and it forces it into the cells, which is going to be a lot more effective than just drinking the water and hoping to hyperhydrate, which isn't really entirely how it works. Glycerol gonna make your pumps huge. It could make your pre-workouts taste a little bit clumpier or a little bit worse, but stop being a bitch. You want them crazy ass pumps. So 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams of glycerol, highly recommend. We're gonna move into Betaine Anhydrous, which is another intracellular hyperhydrator. It's gonna have 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams of it is gonna be your effective dose. And essentially what Betaine Anhydrous is gonna do is it's gonna act as a methyl donor and substitute for folate and B12 and the regeneration of methionine, which is an amino acid. It's going to balance fluid levels inside and outside of cells, which is basically going to act as an intracellular hyperhydrator. So it's going to make your pumps crazier. It has been shown to increase muscle size and increase strength, but mainly in pre-workouts, it's going to be for the pumps, which kind of like a lot of pre-workout ingredients are, and a lot of these natural supplements, is they could build a lot of strength and a lot of size, stuff like that, but you're going to want them more for the pumps. Next up, we are going to move into a couple of nootropics. So first one is something I really love to look for in my pre-workouts, which is alpha GCP, 300 to 600 milligrams of it. If you watch the Andrew Huberman podcast, or if you've come across Andrew Huberman, you know he's a huge fan of alpha GCP.
For me, in terms of thinking about the risk-benefit profiles, taking 300 milligrams of alpha GPC most certainly does increase my ability to focus.
And basically how it's going to work is it's going to facilitate the release of acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter that helps learning, memory, and involuntary muscle activity. It's also going to help prevent the decrease of choline, which is associated with exercise. Choline is a neurotransmitter, and this enhanced neurotransmitter function is going to keep you lasered in the gym. It's going to increase your focus 4 to 6 hours around then, and if you're lifting more than then you have other problems other than pre-workout. And yeah, I highly recommend alpha GCP. It is a great focus supplement. And you may be thinking, I don't really need focus. It's not that big of a deal. Just wait till you take alpha GCP and you just lasered in the gym. you won't want to take anything else. Finally, last but not least, we have L-Tyrosine, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. How it works is going to be a cognitive enhancing amino acid. It's going to be a precursor to dopamine and help the mood regulation and induces that kind of euphoric feeling in the gym. So when you're in the gym and you're just feeling fucking great, that fucking test that you just bombed for biology doesn't even fucking matter. You feel like Satoru Gojo floating in the air while fighting Toji. You just feel like a fucking god. So yeah, L-Tyrosine, very good nootropic. So yeah, that's going to round out our list. And basically overarching themes is when you're in looking for your pre-workouts, you kind of have your different classes of supplements that I kind of went over. You have your vasodilators, which are going to be your Agmentine Sulfates and your L-Citrulline. You're going to have your intracellular hyperhydrators, which are going to be like Glycerol, Betaine Anhydrous, and these 4 are going to be very good pump supplements. You're also going to have your nootropics, which are going to be like L-Tyrosine and alpha GCP, which are going to keep you focused in the gym and give you kind of that euphoric feeling. And then finally, I kind of call it other because it's like beta alanine and creatine and also caffeine, which I forgot to mention. Caffeine, 100 to 300 milligrams. We all know it. We all love it. Kind of why I'm skimming over it at the end here. It's kind of personal preference how much caffeine you're going to want. So is everything else in this. It's personal preference at the end of the day. But caffeine especially because, it depends on how fucking juiced you want to be feeling. Because I know if you take like 330 milligrams of caffeine, depending on your tolerance, you could be feeling fucking lit. Some people really like that, and some people kind of want to feel a little more calm. So yeah, I try to shoot for around 200 to 300. So, that's gonna round out this video. If you guys liked it, smash like and subscribe. And yeah, if you have any other questions regarding anything fitness wise, anything supplementation wise, let me know. Got a few more bangers on the way, and yeah, I will catch y'all later.